A real miracle happened in the building in Ternopil that was completely destroyed by a Russian missile. Meanwhile, Putin talks about living to 150 years old, while Russians must die on his orders at the front. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak. More news is coming up next. A real miracle happened last night at the site of the collapsed 9-story building in Ternopil. During another moment of silence, rescuers heard cries for help. Between the 5th and 6th floors, they found a man trapped in the concrete but alive. It was 20-year-old Bogdan. Rescuers shared the details.
With the help of a ladder, we climbed to the 9th floor of this house, began a search and rescue operation. They heard from under the rubble, made a moment of silence, heard a voice under the rubble calling for help. My colleagues and I quickly, saw this place where it is located, and began to contact the victim and dig up the ruins of the house. We kept in touch with him all the time, because he was nervous, screaming. I calmed him down, said, "Don't be nervous, don't waste energy, because there is a lot of rubble above you that needs to be dismantled. Be patient and wait, we will definitely save you." And, we kept in touch with him. We worked with the guys, with my colleagues of 6, and did this work, saved. Miraculously, the victim survived. He was just in the kitchen and near the cold, he was just near the refrigerator compartment. I pressed him down with the kitchen chair. He was lying in the fetal position, his hands in front of him. He had very little free space in front of him to breathe, and one hand, his right arm, was interrupted by a kitchen chair. We put a tourniquet on him and carried out a further rescue operation. I don't know, it was a miracle how he survived. For us, this is a miracle for him. His name is Bogdan, 20 years old. We, were in contact with him. I don't know, it's a miracle how he survived. I have never seen people survive like this, and there is very little air. There were rubble, where people somehow had more room to spare, where he could breathe there, calm down. And here he was in such a position that he said, "I can't hold my neck on my own, help me, let's dig it up there." There was a lot of rubble above it, and the rest of the house destroyed.
They also managed to rescue a parrot from the completely destroyed building. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, showed shocking footage of the aftermath of the Russian strike on the building in Ternopil. The Ukrainian leader noted that the fate of 22 people is still unknown. As a reminder, yesterday a Russian missile hit the building aimed directly at the residential home with peaceful people inside.
All night long, our rescuers worked in Ternopil, and search and rescue operations are still ongoing. The whereabouts of 22 people remain unknown. The search continues. More than 230 rescuers from 9 regions of Ukraine have been deployed. In some areas, they can only work by hand because of the heavy destruction and shattered structures. This makes the search more difficult. At the moment, 26 people are confirmed dead, including 3 children. My condolences to their families and loved ones. I thank all our people who have been working at the site for almost 24 hours non-stop. Rescuers, medics, police. Thank you to each and every one of you. In such difficult days, despite all of Russia's attacks and terror, it is extremely important that our people always know they can count on rescue and help.
Russian media channels report the drone have again struck the oil refinery in Ryazan. The Russian Minister of Defense claims that 65 drones were allegedly shot down during the night.
In front of our eyes. There's smoke coming, there's smoke. Smoke over there, crush right over there, in short, a cunt in general, right next to us.
Russians are celebrating the strike of their own oil refinery. One Russian woman even calls it the right kind of движуха and says the heat was a strong one.
I went out to smoke, and there was no smoke, even where there was no fire. Crushed up, of course, well, smoke. There's smoke there. It's smoking. Not only, in my opinion, the territory of this oilman, something, in my opinion, was also crushed. In general, there is a lot of movement going on there.
In Perm, a railway caught fire. It is reported that fuel tanks were burning.
These first 2 barrels, they flew out immediately. I got it.
Is it in a ditch?
Yes, they immediately flew out, and those remnants of fire.
The Russian dictator Putin said that technology has now reached a level where a person can live up to 150 years. But then he adds that earlier people lived 20-30 years, and that was fine. The main thing is to have time to fight for Putin. It's for Putin opinions. The Russian dictator clearly plans to live to 150 himself.
The fact that some experts, well, now we are talking about Chinese specialists, say that it is possible to create conditions, I will not go into details now, well, in general, to create conditions under which a person will live up to 150 years. In this regard, I would like to say the following. Once upon a time, a person lived 20, 30, 35 years, and it was considered normal. Then the average age in individual countries and on the planet as a whole began to increase. 35, 45, 50 years old, and also fine. Now in some countries it is already 80, and we strive to ensure that we have an average age, a little more for women, and less for men. Well, we even set certain goals for ourselves to increase the average life expectancy, and we are doing everything right. And it is probably possible to bring it to 150 years. But, firstly, there will always be little money, just as money will always be scarce. In my opinion, the main question is not how long to live. The main question is how to live, why and for what. And these questions are answered by our traditional values.
No matter how long Putin lives, Ukraine will continue to fight against Russian terror. Stand with Ukraine, support Ukraine, we will definitely win. Glory to Ukraine.